Camera, rolling, action.
Anong famous line ni Rizal na tungkol sa kabataan na tumatak sa'yo? Para sa akin, ang tumatak talaga ay ang kabataan ay ang pag-asa ng bayan. Ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Ang kabataan.
Ang kabataan.
Ang kabataan. Kabataan. Kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. Ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Ang pag-asa ng bayan. Pag-asa ng bayan.
Pag-asa ng bayan.
Kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Madalas nating sabihin sila ang pag-asa. Pero sa gitna ng puyat, gutom at kawalan ng katiyakan, nahanap pa ba nila ang kahulugan ng salitang ito? Ngayon, susubukan nating balikan ang isang lumang paniniwala. Isang paniniwala na tila natabunan na ng alikabok ng panahon. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Rialonda, born on June 19, 1861 in the lakeside town of Calamba, Laguna. He was a man of great mind and even greater courage. He was a polymath, a doctor, a writer, an artist, and a revolutionary, whose words were more powerful than any weapon. Through his famous books, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, he showed the world the suffering of his people. He gave Filipinos the spark they needed to wake up and dream of being free. He was a firm believer in the power of the young, famously saying, "Ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan." The youth are the hope of our nation. But today, we look around and ask a difficult question. If Rizal were alive in our time, seeing the same old problems that have lasted for generations, would he still say those words? Would he still see hope in a youth that is struggling with the heavy weight of the world today? Sinasabi nilang ang kasaysayan ay paulit-ulit lang. Pero para sa mga kabataang Pilipino, tila hindi pa ito natatapos. Isang siklo ng paghihirap, pangarap at pakikibaka.
Minsan, parang ang hirap na maging estudyante ngayon. Requirements, problema sa bahay, tapos parang ikaw lang mag-isa. And the worst part is the stigma.
Like Elena and Joey, thousands of youth are drowning in the reality of the present day, unaware that the social cancer they face today was diagnosed over a century ago. Ang edukasyon ang dapat na sandigan. Ayon sa saligang batas, ito ay isang karapatan. Ngunit sa realidad, ito ay isang pribilehiyo na tila mailap.
Karapatan raw ng lahat ang edukasyon. Pero kung ito ay karapatan, bakit hindi ito nararanasan ng lahat?
20 kayo lahat?
Underfunding remains a major issue.
Kasi isa lang yung aklat namin.
Kaya gusto ko gid mag-eskwela, isang gurang na ako. Nagpurbal gid ako pag-eskwela.
The 1987 Constitution is clear. Quality education is a right, but funds meant for education are often misused, limiting opportunities for the poor.
How do you provide quality when you only allocate 3.6 of the GDP? That's far below the 6% global recommendation. We are teaching in survival mode.
When classrooms are overcrowded and the curriculum feels like a factory line of memorization, we aren't creating thinkers. We are just creating workers.
This results in an inadequate facilities, limited resources, and an unconducive learning environment.
Binibili na ni Teacher Floor mula sa kanyang sahod.
Kasi ikaw rin ang maghirap.
Kung hindi mo talaga i-produce yung gagamitin nila, paano ka makapagturo? Paano mo malalaman kung may learning ba yung estudyante mo? First time ko nalayo sa pamilya ko.
Kulang ng silid-aralan, kulang ng libro, kulang ng pondo, kulang ng pagkakatao. The way education is taught today also reflects a deeper issues. Ano po ba ang naiambag ni Rizal? Bakit halaga ko siya ngayon?
May magbabago pa ba?
Sa dami ng ating natututunan, naiintindihan pa talaga natin?
But the crisis isn't just in the classrooms. It's inside the minds of the youth. A silent struggle that doesn't show up on a report card.
People think it's just basic, but actually it's true. It's a constant wave of high expectation. Then add to that school fees, contributions, lab fees, contributions for the group project. Where am I supposed to get them?
Based on data collected by the ABS-CBN Research and Verification Unit from 2019 to August 2025, over 36,000 calls have been received by the NCMH Crisis Hotline. In the first 8 months of the year, the number of calls have already exceeded 2024's total figure, with the subject of calls being mostly about suicide. Among the reasons for this,
social media is a tricky place, and most of the posts there would tend to show that they're okay, but deep inside,
The numbers tell a heartbreaking story. According to the DOH and World Health Organization, mental health conditions are now the top cause of disability among young Filipinos. In a recent study, roughly 1 in 10 Filipino youth aged 15 to 24 have considered ending their lives. This isn't just about burnout. This is a national emergency.
And the worst part is the stigma. When you finally admit that you are not okay, they would say, nag-iinarte ka lang. Or, kulang ka lang sa isa. You're told to be the hope of the nation, but most of the days, you're just trying to survive.
They say the government has no money for modern classrooms. They say the budget for mental health programs is insufficient. But in reality, it is not the money that is lacking. It's where that money actually goes.
Corruption remains one of the most pressing issues in the Philippines. Pero gaano nga ba ito kalala?
natag-araw. Meron naman na bumuhos lang ang ulan ng saglit o kaya walang patid ang patak, ragasanan ng baha ang kasunod. Maraming Pilipino na ganito ang kinagisnan, kinalakihan at ginawan na lang ng paraan.
Malaking pondo pero kulang ang resulta.
Because of corruption, some projects become overpriced, poorly built, or even ghost projects.
Ghost project?
Ibig sabihin, may pondo, pero walang actual project.
Hindi ito laging nakikita, pero nararamdaman.
A lack of transparency makes it difficult for citizens to track how public funds are used. Hindi malinaw kung saan napupunta ang pera ng bayan.
This is reflected in public perception. According to a Pulse Asia survey, 94% of Filipinos believe that corruption in government is widespread. The result is clear: disrupted lives, unsafe communities, and growing distrust. Even with agencies like the Commission on Audit, weak enforcement and delays allows abuses to continue. But behind every struggle, there is a shadow that seems to watch, a presence that lingers in the corners of our collective memory. They say heroes do not die. They are simply resting in the pages of our past, waiting for a hand to turn the page, waiting for a heart to remember.
Why does it feel like we're screaming into a vacuum? The tuitions is rising, the classrooms were falling apart, and when we say we're tired, they just tell us we're weak. It's the same cycle. Corruption takes the budget, education suffers, our mental health is the collateral damage. How can a broken lamp give light?
Do not be surprised that the wounds still bleed. I call that social cancer, because the cancer does not die with the patient. It spreads to the next generation if the cure is never applied.
But the cure they gave us was just a set of books to memorize. They gave us crowded classrooms and told us to be geniuses. We spent pure money on ghost projects and flood controls that didn't work.
Then you have seen the truth. Governance is not a gift given by those in power. It is a debt they owe to the people. When the foundation of education is made of sand, it is because someone stole the cement. For a nation to be free, its people must be whole when your mind is heavy with despair. It is because the nation has failed to give you a floor to stand on.
So what now? We just wait for another revolution?
Revolution begins when you refuse to accept the bare minimum as a blessing.
Mensana and Sana, a sound mind in a sound body. You cannot fight for a nation if you're crumbling inside. Taking care of your mental health is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of defiance against a system that wants you to be silent, tired, and compliant.
So, anong pwede natin gawin? Hindi lang pala ito problema ng gobyerno, kundi responsibilidad din natin. Magsisimula tayo sa paghingi ng transparency. Kailangan nating manawagan para sa sapat na pondo sa edukasyon at mas mahigpit na pagbabantay sa kaban ng bayan upang ang para sa atin ay makarating talaga sa atin. Hindi lang dapat tayo nanonood, kailangan nating makialam mula sa pagmememorya ng leksyon patungo sa aktibong pag-iisip at pakikipaglahok sa lipunan. Pero hindi natin ito magagawa ng pagod at mag-isa lang tayo. Kailangan nating lumikha ng safe space at suporta para sa ating mental health. Dahil ang pag-aalaga sa sarili ay ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Dati, akala ko kailangan maging katulad agad ni Rizal para makagawa ng pagbabago. Pero ngayon, naintindihan ko na, hindi pala kailangan maging bayani agad.
Sa simpleng pantindig sa tama, sa maliit na boses ang nagsisimula. Doon nagsisimula ang tunay na pagbabago.
At kung magsisimula ako, baka may sumunod.
Ang pagbabago ay nagsisimula sa mamamayang mulat.
Ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan.
These are not just topics. They are real, and they are happening now.